shoot. Run or shoot!
Loop. How do you do? I'm Dusteroo, and I want to talk to you about Left 4 Dead. Specifically about what a full or second chapter could look like. This is the Left 4 Dead chapter, introducing a new survivor who goes by the name of Coach, and only Coach. The new killer, the king of the special infected, the Tank, with all of his add-ons and of course 6 new perks for these 2 characters. And yes, this would probably never happen due to Valve's rules on their IPs being used, on the only condition that they are free additions. And knowing Dead by Daylight, they are not going to create content they can't monetize, especially to this extent. But come on, you gotta let a guy dream, can't you? Before we go into all the details, we're going to give you a quick refresher on what the world of Left 4 Dead is like, and who the new cameo characters are. Left 4 Dead takes place in the United States during the outbreak of a highly infectious and even more lethal virus, known as the Green Flu, which turns those few that are infected into aggressive, rabid creatures whose only drive, besides just standing around, is tearing apart anything that does not look like them. Unless they are some of the special few who just so happen to smoke a pack a day, rot in bed and are very emotional, or hit the gym like it's a religion. Those few then become special infected, highly mutated, and particularly capable in hunting down prey. If you are just built different from everyone else, you could very well be a carrier, a human infected with the Green Flu virus, but somehow not suffering any of the mutations or symptoms. Just be careful who you hang around with. Other people can still catch what you're spewing. The 8 carriers we come to know from the 2 games are Zoe, a college student whose interest in horror movies help keep her alive in the end of days. Francis, a biker who hates everything except vests and steam.
Man, I love steam.
Yeah, steam's alright, I guess.
Lewis, an office worker who is a big fan of pills.
Louis, stop!
Well, hater, I guess you don't have to eat anything.
And of course, Bill, the tough-as-nails army veteran who will sacrifice himself for even the slightest of inconveniences. And then we have the cast of Left 4 Dead 2, Rochelle, an associate news producer who likes Depeche Mode. Nick, a scammer, a con man, possibly escaped convict, and rather sussy when it comes to women.
Ah, shit, Rochelle. There goes repopulating the Earth.
Ellis, a lovable country boy with a million stories. And finally, Coach, a religious man with a love for burgers.
Last time I saw my grandmother, she asked me was I still a praying man. I told her, yes ma'am. Well, she says, pray harder. 'Cause it ain't working.
These carriers' only goal is to find safety, and time after time, we see that there is no safety. No matter how far you run, how long you fight, eventually you will fall. There is no escape, only finding those few moments to breathe. Introducing the new killer, the Tank. The Tank is a 115% movement speed killer with a 32-meter terror radius. The Tank comes with 3 unique abilities. Toss. The Tank can grab survivors with the same effective range as a basic attack lunge. While grabbing onto a survivor, the Tank can pivot in place and toss a grabbed survivor in whatever direction he is currently looking at. If a tossed survivor comes into contact with an object or a fellow survivor, they will lose 1 health state. Downed pallets, breakable walls will be destroyed. Generators will be damaged and begin to regress. Survivors who are collided with will also lose a health state. The tank can toss survivors a total of 8 meters away. Toss can only inflict damage, but not grab within 16 meters of an actively hooked survivor. The tank also has the ability Rubble Throw. In a 1.7 second animation, the tank can rip a large piece of rubble out of the ground and toss it at survivors. Depending on how you angle the throw, the rubble can be tossed very long distances. Survivors directly hit with rubble lose a health state. When rubble comes into contact with an object besides a survivor, it will be destroyed and leave behind a rubble cloud at the area of contact. If not obstructed, the rubble cloud will also spread forward in the direction the rubble was heading towards. The rubble cloud will stay present for 10 seconds, hindering survivors that move through it by 10%, as long as they are within its radius. It will blind survivors within its radius and for 30 seconds after leaving the rubble cloud. Survivors will also be afflicted with a coughing fit for 30 seconds after leaving the rubble cloud. There is no distortion effect within the rubble cloud. Generators will be regressed if hit by rubble. Rubble will also destroy downed pallets and breakable walls. Rubble Throw will be placed on cooldown for 15 seconds after a piece of rubble has been destroyed. The tank can also use Intense Climb. Using the grab button against a flat surface allows the tank to climb upwards as long as the grab button is held. The tank can climb on top of objects as long as the wall is a flat surface. Now let's talk about the many add-ons the tank can bring into the trial. Brown add-ons. Stained Blue Boxers. Increase climbing speed by 100% and see the auras of all survivors within 8 meters while climbing. Acidic Sample. The rubble cloud radius left behind from a rubble throw is increased by 25%. Torn Overalls. Increase the distance survivors can be tossed by 4 meters. Consumed Medkit. Increase the speed of rubble flying through the air by 25%. Yellow add-ons. Severed Tongue. The rubble cloud left behind from a rubble throw has its radius increased by 50%. Witch's Tears. Lower the cooldown of rubble throw by 3 seconds. Bile Sample. The tank becomes undetectable while climbing and for 3 seconds after ending climb. Hunter Claws. Survivors who are damaged by toss are afflicted with mangled and hemorrhage. Empty Pill Bottle. After using Rubble Throw, gain a 5% haste effect for 5 seconds. Green add-ons. Detonated Pipe Bomb. Lower the cooldown of Rubble Throw by 5 seconds, but remove the ability to leave behind a rubble cloud. Charred Glass Shards. Increase the distance rubble can be thrown by 100%. Scavenged Gas Can. Decrease the radius of rubble cloud by 25%, but increase the hindered effect by 5%. Drained Syringe. Increase the distance survivors can be tossed by 8 meters. Helicopter Wreckage. Thrown rubble projects the tank's tear radius until it is destroyed. Purple add-ons. Dismantled Car Alarm. Survivors who are tossed by the tank have their aura revealed for 12 seconds. Mounted Machine Gun. Basic attacks will launch survivors forward but cannot damage other objects with collision. No longer be able to leave behind a rubble cloud. Helpful Ham Radio. Survivors that run through a rubble cloud will have their auras revealed for 15 seconds after leaving its radius. Charged Defibrillator. When the tank enters a rubble cloud, he becomes undetectable and gains a 5% haste effect while within its radius. Iridescent add-ons. Prized Gnome. When a piece of rubble makes contact with an object, it no longer leaves behind a rubble cloud, but splits into 2 pieces of rubble that shoot out in the direction the rubble was traveling. Legendary Racing Suit. Survivors directly hit with rubble fall into the dying state. Now, a big threat requires some big perks, and a theme I went for with the tank is infection, and always being able to find any survivor who remains uninfected. Crescendo Event. Progress comes at a cost. Survivors should be prepared for what they are about to call down upon themselves. The first time a survivor interacts with something that progresses the objective, both generator and exit gates, they scream and their aura is revealed for 10 seconds. This effect only applies once per object, not per survivor. Green Flu. Survivors' own actions will often lead to their team's demise, and when it comes to carriers, they may have no idea that's what they're doing. After the obsession is hit with a basic attack, they are afflicted with the green flu. Any survivor they come within 24 meters of for 30 seconds will scream and have their aura revealed for 8 seconds. Green flu is placed on a 30-second cooldown after expiring. This effect can only be applied once per survivor during its activation. Scent trail. Survivors leaving a trail are easy to sniff out. After breaking a downed pallet, reveal the aura of the survivor who dropped it for 8 seconds. After this perk is activated, it goes on a cooldown of 45 seconds. The perks that Coach brings in with him are: get it off me. Even in your worst state, you can find solace in knowing that your fellow survivors will have all the information they need to help you get back on your feet. You recover from the dying state 25% faster. Reveal the killer's aura to the rest of the team if they are within a 16-meter radius of you while you are in the dying state or being carried. Still standing. No matter how hard they hit, you're still standing and ready to hit back even harder. Your stuns and blinds, 15 seconds after losing a health state, are doubled in duration. Pills here. Desperate times lead to desperate actions. At least you have a pick-me-up to hold on a little bit longer. Anytime you open a chest, always find pills. Pills have 2 charges and can be consumed for a random effect. Get a speed burst of 150% movement speed for 3 seconds, which ignores exhaustion. Gain a 25% action speed bonus for 10 seconds. Generators, totems, healing, and vaulting. For 5 seconds, gain the endurance status effect. Become blind, scream, and throw up for 20 seconds. Actions do not repeat twice in a row, but are completely random. So for cosmetics, we start off with the most simple cosmetics that can be done for these characters. Bill gets 3 legendary cosmetics: Zoe, Lewis, and Francis, while Coach would also get 3 legendary cosmetics: Rochelle, Nick, and Ellis. The tank could get a blighted outfit, but good luck twisting him up any more than he already is. But the real fun would be the special infected inspired cosmetics for some of the other killers. Smoker Deathslinger seems like an obvious pick. Not really sure how you would make it work unless it's just like a smoker-fied version of Deathslinger with a tongue gun. Hunter Legion is the easiest pick. Spitter Plague is also another slam dunk. Charger Hillbilly would be really cool. Instead of a chainsaw, it's just his big arm. Probably the best way to do the witch would be making her the hag. I don't really see any other character fitting really well with her. You could do a Boomer Clown. Just make the smoke green. And for the jockey, well, I can't see anything for the jockey. If Victor had skins, maybe. And we are never getting licensed cosmetics on other IP-based characters. It would be cool, but I don't ever see them attempting to mess with licensed content in that way. So, sorry jockey, you got the short end of the stick. And last but not least, we have the map. There are a lot of good maps to choose from. Tons of iconic locations to select from the first 2 games. But the one I truly want, and we are in dire need of in Dead by Daylight, is a carnival map. Or in this case, a dark carnival. Yes, as you can see, this map is not only ominous, but quite fun. With quite a few distinct locations to pick from, you could just cram together to have an extremely awesome looking map. For the main area, I think you can't go wrong with Kittyland. We could cram the concert location on one side of it, have the stage and some fireworks. Maybe we do the roller coaster where we can walk around on some parts of it. If we want a really condensed building for one part, there's always the Tunnel of Love and its maintenance room. You can basically just redesign it and make something that could work using that theme. But I do say you have to figure out a way to put in the bumper cars. I can already see a loop where there's a couple crashed bumpers in a line with a pallet between them. It would just be too good to ignore. But seriously, is it too much to ask for an actual carnival-themed map? Besides the smallest and most forgettable traveling circus just off to the side of a church, we have nothing. And it would be very solid. And that brings us to the end of the video. So what do you think? Would you like to see the tank in Dead by Daylight? I know so many of you have your own ideas on which special infected you would want to see as a killer. I have heard so many bring up the Witch, and I've even heard a few people suggest the Hunter. The reason I did the tank is, well, he's just an easy fit. Like, my power is basically just the tank's moveset from Left 4 Dead, put into Dead by Daylight. It's such an easy, clean transition between the two, while the other special infected feel a lot more difficult to adapt and would basically become whole new characters with the infected skin on top of them. But I would love to be shown otherwise, so let me know. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please hit that like button and maybe even subscribe. A second for you and a lot of help for me. I release one chapter concept every month, and I don't plan them in advance, I just work on whatever appeals to me at that moment, as I already have several written out. So thank you all for watching, my name is Dusteroo, and I will see you all real soon. Bye bye.